Bitcoin is trading at around $104,000 today. If you're watching this, it might be further down the line. Bitcoin could be, who knows, $150,000, $200,000, $500,000. And regardless of what Bitcoin's price is, I wanted to talk about the question I know I'm going to inevitably get, which is it too late to buy Bitcoin, right? At 100,000, people might think it's too inflated, and they're going to be saying the same thing at 200,000, right? The same people ignoring Bitcoin now are going to be the ones asking if it's too late to buy Bitcoin in the future. And the answer is it's never too late to buy the world's greatest, hardest financial asset, right? There's no bad time to exchange a weak currency like the dollar for a strong currency, a strong financial asset like Bitcoin. It's absolute scarcity, right? The question I like to ask back if people say, is it too late to buy Bitcoin? 'Cause I just know people are going to ask me that question when Bitcoin pumps again. And the way you have to think about it is, what am I going to sell Bitcoin for, right? For what? What am I going to sell the world's hardest financial asset for? I'm going to exchange it to store it into a depreciating fiat currency that has nothing backing it? Like, no, why would I do that? What other asset could possibly store my time and energy better than Bitcoin could? Perfect digital scarcity. Like, what else could possibly be a better store of long-term value, right? So people always say, when should I sell? Should I buy now? Maybe if I buy later. No, like, there's never a bad time to exchange a weak currency that fails as a store of value for a strong currency that was built to be a store of value. There's no bad time to do that. So even when Bitcoin hits $1 million per coin, I'm going to be still preaching the same thing. It's still a good store of value. Now, the earlier you get in, obviously there's more volatility because there's a smaller market cap. It doesn't need as much capital to move the entire price of Bitcoin. So there's more volatility, but there's also more potential. So Bitcoin is a Veblen good, meaning that the higher the price goes, the more valuable it is, right? It seems, obvious, but the higher the price is, the safer it is, and the more tested it is, and the better it is as a store of value, right? So even when it's $1 million per coin, it's still going to be the best way to store your wealth for the future, to preserve your wealth in time and space. At a $2 trillion market cap for Bitcoin, there's still so much room to grow, right? Gold is trading at $22 trillion of market cap, right? And Bitcoin is digital gold. It's perfected digital gold. And it's the only asset in human history that has ever had absolute known scarcity, right? Gold has similar properties. There's somewhat scarce supply of gold. It's pretty hard to make, but we have no idea what the actual cap supply of gold is, right? Gold is nature's best way of creating scarcity. Bitcoin is perfect, absolute digital scarcity. No one can create more of it. No one can find more of it than that 21 million cap, which we know for sure is hard-coded fact. And humans crave scarcity, right? Humans crave storing their value in something that is scarce, something that is hard to come by. You see that with trading cards, like, the rarest Pokemon cards or sports cards. People want it because it's scarce and no one can create more of it. So we naturally crave that as a part of our DNA. So naturally, people will shift towards the better money that is more scarce, right? It's going to take some time, right? Like with the automobile, it took time for people to adopt that new superior technology, even though it was obvious if you look at all the metrics that it was a superior technology. It still took some time for people to realize that. And that's the point that we're in now. People are still realizing what Bitcoin is. They still think it's a speculative, risky investment, when in reality, it's the world's greatest savings account. So yeah, that's the core message of this video. There's no bad time to buy Bitcoin. People are definitely going to have that mindset and feel like they missed the ship with Bitcoin. So that's why I'm creating this video ahead of time to front run those people that come searching for answers, right? I know people are going to ask the question, is it too late to buy Bitcoin? I know that. Like, it's just human psychology. If you feel like you missed the ship, you heard about Bitcoin when it was $50,000, $100,000. All of a sudden it shoots up to $500,000, and it's going to feel like you missed the ship. You missed the opportunity. And, that's somewhat true. You did miss an opportunity to buy into a technology, a monetary network, a finite monetary network before it reached mass adoption. But you did not miss the opportunity fully. You did not miss the opportunity to adopt hard, sound money, right? It's going to benefit everyone, even when it reaches mass adoption. That's, I think, what people fail to understand, is that even when everyone is using it for everything to store their value, every individual, every business has a strategic Bitcoin reserve as a way to preserve capital into the future, but it's still going to be a good store of value at that point. There's an opportunity today to be early, which is an amazing opportunity, but just don't feel like you missed the ship once you hear everyone talking about it, because it's still going to be early. Even if there isn't as much room to grow in the adoption department, like people just haven't figured it out yet. Even when everyone's figured it out, it's still going to store your wealth, because people are going to lose their keys still, right? People are going to lose access to Bitcoin. People may pass away and take their keys with them without having an inheritance plan. The population is going to grow. Who knows? Maybe we'll inhabit Mars someday and expand humanity, and there's still going to be 21 million Bitcoin to spread across all of humanity. So there's no point at which you could miss a ship to absolute scarcity. So I feel like I've repeated some of the points in this video many times, but I just feel like they're that important to keep getting across to people. So yeah, I just think it's really important. And yeah, let me know if you have any comments, suggestions for future videos down below. And yeah, like and subscribe if you enjoyed. That helps out the channel a ton. And as always, together, let's work, save, and build a brighter future with Bitcoin. See you in the next video.